Good morning, Babel. I'm still getting set up. I need to post it in various places. Let's see. Nix, good morning. How are you? Morgan, good morning. Well, I say good morning. It's probably not morning for most of you. It's still morning for me, though. I have about 45 more minutes of it being considered morning. Good, how are you? Good, I'm glad to hear it. I'm doing well. I'm very exhausted from Christmas. Did you celebrate? Because our family had this massive get together, and I have a very large family. And we all went to this big house that we all rented together. It was like 20, 23 people, I believe. So it's quite quite a lot of us. And it was a little bit loud, a little bit chaotic, but it was ultimately really good to have the entire group together, since we're not usually all together for holidays anymore. We were when we were younger, kind of when we were kids, but as adults, we haven't really had time. People are working, people live in different states. So while it was very exhausting because I was technically one of the people hosting, so was responsible for cooking and cleaning and all of that, it was still good to see everyone. A little chaotic, but ultimately still good. I'm jealous you have a large family. Mine was so-so. Well, I hope you still were able to enjoy parts of it. My family is quite large. When I was little, I loved it because it meant that I got lots of presents as a kid. As an adult now, it's just a little bit stressful because now I have to help my sister. Because when we host, my sister and I are usually the ones who end up cooking. My sister's an excellent cook, an excellent baker, but usually I am her second pair of hands in the kitchen, so I will typically end up helping her, which I don't mind doing at all. But it is very exhausting to cook and bake for that many people. But it's still fun. Merry Christmas. Belated Merry Christmas. I hope you enjoyed if you celebrate, or if you celebrate another holiday, that you had a good time. I'm going to be working on a sketch page today for a spicy little secret project that you may or may not have seen me reference, depending on where you follow me. I think I've talked about it like a little bit on Threads, probably not so much on Instagram. Don't expect me to be consistent across where I post. It's like a scavenger hunt. You get different pieces depending on where where you find me. But I'll be working on that today, so that'll be fun. I'm just getting my little Instagram posts made here. Me too. 10 uncles and aunties. Wow. Ooh, that is a big family. I have, let me see. So I have four uncles and three. No, I'm trying to remember. Our family got very big very quickly because my grandparents on my mother's side divorced and remarried. This was all before I was born. They had divorced and remarried, but they divorced and remarried to people who had already previously been married and had either been divorced or had their spouse had passed away. And that meant that there were suddenly now like two full extra families all added in. So I'm trying to remember who was related to who. Because usually what we have to do is we actually have to split up the groups between multiple houses because there's just too many people. So this was the first time in probably about 6 or 7 years that we actually had everyone together in the whole in a single house. It's just, oh my gosh, there's so many people. And sometimes I forget how I'm related to people, trying to remember, am I related to you by a marriage or am I related to you by a remarriage on my grandparents? It's just it's quite a lot. But everyone's wonderful. We all get along really well, which I deeply appreciate. I'm not gonna start drawing just yet, but you can take a quick peek at the sketch page so far. I'm not super happy with the sketch on the right. I knew I wanted to draw him in the armor, or at least something close to the armor I intend to have him wear, but I'm not sure I'm super happy with it. So we'll see. I might restart that one. Cyril Supremacy. He is my precious, horrible man, and I love him so much. Look at that handsome bastard. He's a very handsome bastard, affectionate. I also have to think of what other sketches I'm going to put kind of on the sketch page. Because obviously I want to do one with the armor kind of on that right side. But I also had kind of wanted to do one with him in a more casual, is casual the right word? A more relaxed outfit, you know, when he's not dressed up in all the armor. This is for a secret project, which I mentioned earlier, which I'll talk a little bit more about as I start working on the sketches. But we shall see. I know I had wanted to do one of him in his little shirt and suspenders outfit that I used to put him in, because I think that'd be cute. Which is kind of weird to call something of Cyril cute, but still, it's just his cheek. I can call him cute. The second sword on his back makes me think of The Witcher. I was looking at so much Witcher concept art and a bunch of concept art from different games. I've been playing a lot of Elden Ring recently, and that's probably part of why I'm feeling the itch to draw this. I just finished my second playthrough of the Elden Ring DLC, so I've got it on the brain. It's rattling around in my skull. But I've also been playing a little bit of Throne and Liberty, which if you've not heard of that, it's an MMO. Because I kind of hop around from different MMOs. I played Final Fantasy XIV for a while. I play Black Desert sometimes, etc. And lately I've been playing Throne and Liberty, and the class that I play has that great sword on the back, and I was like, I really enjoy that. I think I'm gonna give him a big ass sword. I think that's gonna be fun. So let's see, I have this little sketch, which I can move around. He'll probably stay over there. This one might move. I put him somewhere. We'll see. I don't usually do sketch pages, so it's a little bit out of my wheelhouse, but that's also kind of part of why I wanted to do it. Just doing something a little bit different. Today also probably won't be quite as long of a stream as my last one was. I am trying to stream. My goal is to stream every other week, so it'll be about 2 streams per month, just kind of depending on how it shakes out. I would like to do that. We'll see if my day job allows for me to do that. Probably on Sundays. That's just an easier day for me, but we shall see. I do also have, and this is a secret just between us, I do have a speed paint for YouTube that is coming up that's going to be a lore video, and that's going to be lore for Immolation. That's going to be for the priest storyline, the one that my channel is kind of based around. So expect that maybe next month. It kind of depends on how quickly I can edit it and how quickly I can finish the speed paint, because I have a couple more things I want to do with it. But it's a cheeky little sneak peek of something that hopefully will be coming next month. If not next month, early February. Looks classy. Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, I've got... Oh, I probably should pull up that other sketch that I did for this project. Let me see if I can find that easily. Because I did a sketch of Cyril for this particular project somewhat recently, and it's got him in his armor. However, he does have the breastplate removed, so he's not wearing that. He is wearing that in this sketch, but he won't wearing it in this other one. I really like this other sketch though, so I'd like to keep it relatively consistent. Let me see if I can find it. trying to see. The general vibes. I wanted him to feel a little bit more kind of rough and tumble in this one. A little bit scrappy. I thought that could be fun. So we'll see. I do think I am going to redo the sketch on the right, though. I'm not super... Well... I don't know. We'll see. I'm not super fond of it, but we'll just play with it a little bit, and we'll see how it goes. I think... No, I'll just keep the sketch up there. That's fine. Alright. Where is my pen? Cynthia, welcome in. How are you this morning? Oh, wait. Yes, it is still morning for me. I can still say morning. I have half an hour. I woke up late this morning, but that's because I stayed up very late as well. I was up until about 1 in the morning, I believe, which was a terrible idea. Don't recommend doing that. But I had a good time. I was chatting with a friend, and we just kind of, the hours went by, and it was very pleasant. So no regrets, even though a little bit regret because I'm really tired. But that's all right. I didn't have time to make myself coffee, but that is all right. I will survive. Looks sexy. Thank you. I'm glad you like it. I wanted him to feel a little bit rough and tumble, which I think I've achieved, and I really like that look on him. I don't usually let him be kind of scrappy. Usually I try to make him, you know, especially as the Archbishop, you know, I try to make him look neat and proper. And so this is fun. I get to have him with his hair down. He gets to have pipe. Good fun. Alright, so let's see here. As you can tell, the design of this sword changed. So this was the original sketch that I did. This sword where it's got the kind of like standard shape to it. But then you can tell that I definitely changed that. And I gave it a little bit more decoration, and it looks like I am going to give it a hand guard, and I think I am going to be staying with that. I really like swords with hand guards. And this is not interesting at all, but because you are here and you have to listen to me, because I'm the one with the microphone, you're going to hear it anyway. Because I wanted Cyril, when he holds the sword, just because this is something I personally like. This is a really rough sketch, don't judge me. This is like the first sketching I'm doing this morning. So imagine, that's the sword. Blade's over there, right? So I wanted the sword to be designed in such a way that it's got, you know, your standard cross hilt, so that's partially to protect your hand. But then I wanted it to have like an additional layer here. And I haven't formally designed the sword, so this will change because I'll need to actually look at real swords. But then this would have like a guard that goes around it, and this would be decorated. This wouldn't be quite this simple. But when he holds it, so like let's say that this is his hand coming in. So this is his wrist, that's his arm. It's a very scientifically accurate drawing of a wrist and an arm. So when he's holding it, and his hand is facing towards you, so you're going to be seeing his palm. So this is like the meat of his thumb here. And his fingers will hold it. But when he puts his thumb and his first finger in, he has the option to hold up here with his first finger. And it makes for a more secure grip on the sword that allows him to do more precise movements with it. And Cyril is very precise in his movements, so I just thought that was a really neat thing. You're not going to be able to tell that from the way that I draw the sketch, but in my brain, that is very important to me. So now you know. It's a secret for forbidden lore about how Cyril handles his sword, which will not be mentioned in the actual writing that is relevant to this. You can also have 3 swords now. You're so right. We could just give him more swords. I need to learn to draw men like you. I had to practice a lot, because originally I actually drew a lot more girls. Hold on. It's a little bit hot in my room. I'm going to adjust my fan real quick. Don't mind me as I get up. My chair is very squeaky. Oh my goodness. My poor office chair is fighting for its life. I need to replace it. I need to replace so many things. I got like Christmas money. I was like, yeah, great. You know, I can get myself like a cheeky little gift for Christmas. It's gonna be great. And then turns out, just kidding, I need a new phone. And just kidding, I need a new office chair. I hate buying essentials with my gift money. I want to buy fun things with my gift money, not essentials, but it's fine. I will be responsible. I see the sword in hand is kind of like fencers, if anyone watches the Olympics. Yes, it's based off of that. There's a lot of, okay, more forbidden and also very useless lore about me is I watch a lot of fencing and historical swordplay channels here on YouTube, and I really enjoy that aspect. A lot of my work, but both my writing and my art, has at least some level of historical inspiration, even though it's very clearly fantasy. Like, I will definitely issue realism for fantasy because I enjoy it. It's what I love. But I do like that little crumb, that little flavor of historical information in there. It's something I really enjoy. So, loosely based off of that, but also not holding too fast to the rules because this is fantasy and it's just meant to be fun. Alright. I don't know if I like this pose. I don't know, what are we thinking? Should I keep this one and start rendering it, or should I start over and do something similar? I'm very torn. I'm not sure if I like it. Oh, my pen. Keep it? Alright, well, we've got 1 vote for keep it, so I'm leaning towards that now. You like? Alright. Alright. Keeping it is. Let's see what I can do with it. I am going to have to move you, sir. Put you over there for now. We'll put you over here. Right. I'm going to make some tweaks to the, because I want it to be a little bit more exaggerated. First, I also need to put my chat up on my phone, so that way I don't have to keep tapping. Because I am a peasant, and my deep dark secret is that I actually only use 1 monitor for my personal machine. I prefer to use 2 monitors, and I use 2 monitors at work. But when I'm drawing, I usually stick to 1 monitor. So let me pull you guys up on my phone so I can look at you guys. think that's probably why. I haven't really figured out which leg is going to be more forward. Who isn't a peasant in this economy? You're so right. I'm just trying to survive. That's part of why I'm so mad isn't quite the right word. It's a bit of a strong word, but I'm so annoyed that I have to spend my precious Christmas money, my precious serotonin money on essentials, because that's not what Christmas money should be for, but here we are. If I do that, I have to change the angle of his upper body too. Okay, I can do that. I will definitely need to rework his face because I'm not super happy with that. I thought it'd be fun to, and this is going to be like the world's worst rendition. Give him, one of which you only get like 50% of the effect because he's got an eye patch. But you can kind of picture the look I'm thinking of. The smug bastard face, right? Like that's kind of what I'm thinking that I'll give him here. I'm not entirely sure. Right now he's just got like a general face on, but we'll see. I thought the smug face could be fun, so we'll see if I end up doing that. So I had that. I had the angle right. Okay, so that's fine. The end of the Hellfire animatic smug face. Yeah, I love that face so much. I was so happy with that face. I think that'd be perfect. I'll give him that face. Make him look like he's about to ruin someone's day, which is accurate to Cyril behavior. Even if he pretends to be a nice man most of the time, we all know he isn't. I think I'll keep my lines. I think I'll keep them smaller and rougher for this. I think I'm okay with this just being a sketch. It'll be a little bit rough, a little bit scrappy, just like he's supposed to be for this story. This story being what, depending on, it's like a scavenger hunt. You never know what information you're gonna get depending on where you follow me. Depending on where you follow me, you might have seen me mention a secret project, which is what this is for. And in this story, I'm not entirely sure what it's going to be yet. I'm not sure if it's going to be a short story, if it's going to be a novella. Not entirely sure. I am going to fiddle with it a little bit more. I'm kind of taking a break from the big project, which is IMMOLATION. I'm taking a break from that until the first of the year, and then I'm going to kind of go all in on that. So in the interim, I've been working on this little side project just to kind of keep the creative juices flowing in a way. Really replenishes the old HP. And I'm not entirely sure what it's going to be yet. Maybe a novella, maybe a short story. He's gonna have a scarf over this anyway, so I'm not super fussed about how this looks. But either way, patrons will get first dibs on what this ends up being, and first dibs on all the spicy lore. But this is just a little side project that I'm doing before I dive back into IMMOLATION. Something a little cheeky, a little fun. Chrome, welcome in. Good to see you. It's beautiful. Thank you very much. I love that part. There are a few specific frames in the frames or shots, just kind of depending, in the Immolation, well, Hellfire animatic that I'm really, really fond of. And his smug face and the change from like the serious to like the really smug grin on his face is probably one of my favorites. It's up there for sure. One of my other favorites is probably the. And I'm not really sure how to. Oh wait, I'll start from the top for this. I'm not really entirely sure how to describe it, but there is the shot where Cyril is standing in front of the fireplace in his room, in his office, and the camera is kind of moving through the scene, and you're kind of looking at him from a top-down angle, and that shot was so much work, but I'm so happy with it. Definitely one of my favorites. Also, Bronte dancing, that little spin that she does, holding her skirt, it's so cute. God, so much. That was also very difficult, but I actually found a reference of a dancer, just like, it looked like pretty much a home video. It wasn't a professional dancer, which is what I wanted, because Bronte isn't a professional dancer. Just a, like, kind of like a home video, but like, very old, black and white footage of this young woman who was dancing and was holding her skirt up and like to twirl it about her in the way that I wanted. So I was super happy that I found that. I'm really happy with how that shot of her came out. Devil, welcome in. Good afternoon. Looking good so far. Thank you. I'm hanging in. I have to remind myself that this particular set of armor he's wearing isn't supposed to be fancy or, like, I don't know, particularly. I can't think of another word other than fancy. I haven't had coffee yet today. Point being, as I have mentioned before, I wanted him to be rough and tumble and a little bit scrappy. So I think it'll be fun once I get a couple more lines in, once I kind of get more shapes in, it'll be really fun to go in and do like some slight detailing on his armor to add like little scratches and scuffs and damage and things like that. I think that'll be really fun. I don't know if I'm going to render the metal, because it is supposed to be a sketch page, but we'll see. I'm not saying no to anything just yet. Also, do as I say, not as I do. I am just kind of doodling this from memory and imagination. What I'd really do, if I had more time, is I would actually pull up some references of armor. Which I did use references when I did this initial sketch, but yeah. When drawing something this complicated, it would be much better to be using references. I don't really have quite that much time to sink into it, because when I am working on something and I'm working with references, I work a lot slower, unfortunately, because I start to kind of hyperfixate on lots of different details, and because it's stream, I don't really want to do that, so I might fiddle around with it a little bit later. A little off-stream action to fiddle with the details. think what I did is here I made it like two solid pieces that kind of fuse together in the middle. But I think on the original sketch, yeah, on the original sketch I made it segmented. Okay, so I do need to change that because I like this sketch that I did, and this one I did have references for. So I do want to kind of stick closer to this one. The breastplate isn't very detailed in this one, but that was on purpose. So, okay, so I'm going to stick closer to that. And even though I naturally kind of did this little sketching in here to darken his hands, because Cyril does typically wear gloves, in this one, he's going to be a little slut, and he's not going to have his hands covered. A rare and elusive Cyril fingies are out. Let's see. I have those gone down pretty much all the way to the wrist. I always love your outfit designs, they're so good. Thank you so much. I'm really glad you like them. I do want to do more outfit designs. I tend to get so caught up in details. But I do have a lot of fun doing them. For this particular project, I will probably doodle Angelique, because she is the other main character in this little side project, which I've doodled her before. If you follow from Instagram, then you've probably seen. I might have put it on Threads too, I'm not entirely sure. But you might have seen her floating around. But she's got a cool little bit of armor design that she needs as well, so that'll be fun to draw. Let's see, I think I am going to pieces extend further on his arm. And now, I'm not going to do that hand because I don't feel like doing that right now. But I am going to check on. far at different angles. Actually, I might be able to put that pretty close. I'll buy that. Is it strange that while I'm watching the stream, I'm drawing? No, I do that all the time. It's one of my favorite things to do. Sometimes if I'm drawing, I will deliberately go and just try to find a random art stream to watch. Because I don't know, I enjoy working on art while sitting around and watching others work on art. I enjoy that. Alright, so now I have to think about the... So you can tell I didn't really do any detail on the breastplate in this sketch. But I do know it's relatively high-waisted. I am probably gonna put some bits around it like this. Yeah, alright, we'll give it a shot here. And I do plan on giving him kind of a cape, kind of a scarf. So it's kind of hard to tell from the base sketch, but so this is going to be I'm thinking this will be like red and gold, so I think that'd be pretty. And then this whole part back here, this is all part of that scarf. Versus, pick another color here. Versus this, all of this around here, which is all part of his like actual clothing, so it's not part of that outer layer. And I'm not entirely sure what color that's going to be yet. It's probably just going to be an off-white, like a kind of generic cream linen color, because Cyril in this particular attire is supposed to be, kind of like I said earlier, a little bit scrappy, not super wealthy. He is, in this particular story, he is a coin guard or a mercenary. So he is a soldier for hire, basically. So he doesn't have super fancy gear or a ton of money. He is just a guy doing his job. Just that seeing you draw made me want to do it too. Well, I'm very flattered. That's wonderful to hear. And I hope you enjoy drawing. We can draw together. Or in my case, I can struggle with trying to figure out his design. I always sketch it with such confidence, and then when I come to actually drawing it, I'm like, we'll see. I do like the design overall. It is probably very obviously based off of the armor set that I tend to wear the most in Elden Ring, because I think I mentioned this earlier, I just finished my second playthrough of the Elden Ring DLC, and I typically will wear not the full set necessarily, but a lot of it. I will wear the Bloodhound armor, which this is very reminiscent of, and I really like the Bloodhound armor. And yes, if you are curious, I did make Cyril my Tarnished in Elden Ring. Well, I tried as much as I could. The character creator in Elden Ring is a little bit difficult to finagle, but I did at least attempt to make Cyril in Elden Ring. guess I should make. I guess I could make the whole thing segmented. That would fit his fighting style, technically. Even though I gave him a big sword, he's not a slow and heavy hitter. He's a generally pretty fast fighter. I don't know. We'll see. Oh, Devil, I don't know if you're still in the chat, but did you end up going to see Nosferatu today? I'm super curious. Has anyone else in the chat seen it? I haven't seen it yet. But for obvious reasons, I am curious. I'm not even much of a movie person, but I am curious. I haven't seen it, but someone I follow on Blue Sky is super looking forward to it. Looks cool. It does look really cool. I mean, I'm obviously very biased because it's relevant to my interests, but yeah, it looks like a pretty interesting movie. I'm super curious to go see it. Also, welcome into chat, Rain. Hope you're enjoying. Thank you. I am enjoying. I love your work. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Thank you for being here. Oh, I haven't heard about this one. We'll have to watch it sometime too. I only happened to see a single. Oh my goodness. Let me try again. A singular ad for it kind of go by on, I think it was Instagram. I'm not sure. Wherever I was browsing, like the secondhand marketplace, which probably was Instagram. And I, for obvious reasons, because I just published Immolation back in October, it was like, ooh, right up my alley. Um, I'm really not much of a movie person in general, but it looked interesting enough to me to make me super curious. So perhaps I shall coerce some friends into going to see it. Most of my friends aren't really much of moviegoers either, but I will do my best. There's a car alarm going off outside my window. Hopefully you cannot hear that. I don't usually watch movies either, but if vampires are involved, I do automatically get a little curious. Yep, that's pretty much the same for me. I'll get curious for a few specific things, but generally speaking, I'm not much of a movie person. I have to be really interested in a movie to go see it in theaters, because generally speaking, I am more of a watch movies at home person, and that's because I usually just cannot sit still through a movie. I get too restless, and I need to typically be doing something with my hands, which doesn't really work well for a theater. But you can fiddle around with stuff at home, like fold laundry or whatever. I need to feel like I'm being productive. What is your favorite movie if you have one? Oh boy. I don't know if I have a favorite movie kind of as an adult. When I was a kid, I grew up, on like the original animated Disney films, so those have like a special place in my heart, and of those, Hunchback of Notre Dame is easily my favorite, followed very closely by Beauty and the Beast, but it's Hunchback of Notre Dame for sure. If it wasn't obvious from the animatic that I spent 6 months of my life doing, or whatever it was. But as an adult, I did really enjoy The King's Speech. I thought that was a very good film. Pirates of the Caribbean kind of also falls into more something that I watched when I was a kid, but I still love those movies. I could easily sit down and watch those. I would still get restless, but I could easily sit down and watch those. But The King's Speech was excellent. I'm trying to think. I really don't watch movies. I'm trying to think of something that's a little bit more recent than that I've seen and that I enjoyed, but I can't think of much more recent. Something more recent that left a lasting impression. Because yeah, those are the ones that jump to mind. But then again, I am a little bit boring, and if you ask me, like, oh hey, instead of films, what are like some of your favorite documentaries that you've watched recently, I could list off like 3 or 4. So I don't watch a whole lot of movies, like entertainment movies, but I do watch film in the context of documentaries. those usually aren't quite as fun. I'm trying to think. I think the last, to give you an idea of how little I watch films or how infrequently I go to a theater to watch a film. I believe, and I can say this with probably a solid 90% certainty, that the last film that I watched in theaters was is it the fifth Pirates of the Caribbean film. I believe that was the last time I watched a movie in theaters, so that's how long it's been, however long ago that film came out. I went to see that because a friend really wanted to see it. Did you see Avatar, James Cameron? I have not seen the newer one. I saw the original. I also did not see the original in theaters back in the day. But I didn't get to see the new one in theaters. I haven't seen it at all yet. It's your favorite movie? I have a friend who lives in Europe, and they've been excitedly telling me about the movie. They're a huge fan of both Avatar movies, so I've been excitedly listening to them gush about it, and they're trying really hard not to spoil it for me. I have promised them that I will watch it when I have some downtime. I think I'll do his scarf, because I really like the scarf, and this is also based off of Elden Ring, which is probably why I farmed so long for this helmet. Because it wouldn't drop. My favorite is A Monster in Paris. I used to watch. I love that film. I have seen that one. I've seen it only once, but I remember it now that you've mentioned it. It's such a cute film. I love the music from that film as well. Please do. The music is very beautiful, and I love your work. Thank you so much. I'm so glad you like it. Fifth Pirates is out in 2017. Oh no, I just felt myself age. No. Oh God, I went to see that in theaters, and that was when I lived in a totally different state. I think I saw that when, let's see, 2017. I would have been living in Washington. That would have been back when I lived near Seattle, which I no longer live near Seattle. I live in California now. Oh wow. Whew. What a time. Like that. Let's do that again. I'm trying to remember. I think my parents, and I don't remember if this actually ended up happening. I think my parents wanted us to go see a film on Christmas Day, but I can't remember what the film was. So I feel like that might not have happened. I feel like my mom might have changed her mind. Because I'm trying to think of the last time I was in the theater, and the only time I can remember is the Pirates of the Caribbean. So I'm pretty sure that was the last time. I'm sure my mom is very much a movie person. She absolutely loves movies. So she's constantly trying to figure out ways to get us all to go to the theater to see something, but neither my sister, well, my sister a little bit more so than me, but I very much take after my dad, excuse me. My dad and I both are not movie people. I was when I was younger, for sure, but as an adult, I've taken after my dad. My dad and I are the same in that we cannot sit still through movies most of the time. However, I didn't have a problem sitting through Hamilton when I went to see Hamilton on Broadway, which was excellent. Damn, it really has been a while since the movie came out. I know. I feel old. Based on your movie likes, you probably also enjoy it. Yes, Phantom of the Opera. I have not seen the film Phantom of the Opera, but I did go see Phantom of the Opera live on stage, which was also excellent. I love musicals. I've seen, let's see, I've seen Hamilton, I've seen Phantom of the Opera, I've seen Wicked, and I've seen, what was that one? This was like a local theater, the last one that I'm thinking of, not like a big Broadway production, but the last one was... Disney made a movie of it. I'm trying to remember what it was. Into the Woods. That's what it was. Into the Woods. So I've seen Wicked on stage, but I have not seen the movie. So have any of you seen Wicked? Have any of you seen Wicked, and also have any of you seen Wicked while also having seen the stage production? And if so, what are your thoughts? Because I'm very curious. I would say without spoilers, but I've seen the stage show, so I'm not particularly worried about spoilers. Nope and nope. Okay, so you haven't seen either one. Yeah, when I was a theater kid in high school, they took us to see Wicked. So that's how I ended up seeing that. Where did I put his arms? There we go. This is gonna need to be... I don't want to do this right now. Yeah, so that'll be chainmail in there. And I just don't feel like doing that right now. I think I might do. But I heard the song from Wicked. Is that the song name? Oh, Defying Gravity. Yes, that is from Wicked. I'm slightly curious about the film, but more so because of what's the girl's name? I forget her name. The one who's playing. Oh my gosh, what is her name? Ariana? Is that her name? Ariana Grande? I'm like curious if it's one of those because it is a musical, so I understand they would cast someone they know can sing. But I'm curious about like the acting because I don't know very much about Ariana Grande other than she sings and apparently wears ponytails. I've only listened to the song recordings of Wicked. I enjoy making up movies in my head. I shake your hand. I do the same. I love making up movies and music videos in my head, which is part of why I started doing animatics. The amount of animatic drafts that I have because I listen to something and I can picture a scene, from my own writing or stories, etc. in my head. It's so much fun. It's so much work, but it is so much fun, and I really hope to do more of them. I'm in a weird position. I think I talked about this during my last stream. I'm in a little bit of a weird position because I need to be careful about copyright infringement because I technically, quote unquote, am promoting a product because I wrote the book. I now have to be really careful about it. But I'm hoping that if I just don't monetize the videos and I don't mention anywhere in the videos that this is based off of a book, you can go purchase the book. I'm hoping that I won't get in trouble, mostly because I can't afford those legal fees, and also because I don't want something bad to happen to my YouTube channel. I just want to make my silly little drawings and my silly little characters and have fun with them. So I don't know. We'll see. I hope to do more of them, but I am in a little bit of a weird spot. I always listen to music and imagine OC scenarios. It's so much fun. I really enjoy doing that. I wish I had a I wish I had a link to that comic. I forget the artist's name. Um, I want to say it's Sarah something, but I'm not entirely sure. But if you've seen those comics, it's a little black and white comic, and it's usually a girl with kind of like messy hair and a striped shirt. And there's one where it shows her listening like to an iPod because that's how old the comic is, listening to an iPod with headphones on, and someone tries to talk to her, and she says, "No, no, no, don't interrupt me. I'm creating vivid music scenarios in my head right now." That's me whenever I listen to music. Always creating those wonderful scenarios. Do that 24/7. It's truly a way of life. And I think one of my favorite things is I don't think I could draw a comic. I genuinely don't think I'd be able to do it. I considered it for a time before I kind of admitted to myself, okay, what I really want to do is write. I really want to write a novel and I want to be a writer. There was a period of time before that, before I had kind of accepted that and kind of come to that decision, where I was debating with the Hellfire animatic and everything, am I going to make it a comic, like a web comic of some kind? And I kind of fiddled around with that idea, trying to decide if that would be something that worked for me, and it just doesn't. It does not work with the way my brain works. It just isn't right for me. But animatics somehow are totally different, even though it's a lot of the same kind of work. I mean, yes, you don't necessarily really have any dialogue in animatics, but you're still drawing, interactions kind of frame by frame, and you're relying quite a lot on visual storytelling, which is very much the nature of a comic. And I think the big difference is an animatic can have movement and can interact with the music in a way that a static comic, can't. And I think that's why, one gives my brain incredible amounts of serotonin, and one just doesn't. My head is my theater and I'm the unpaid actor. It's true. Cyril is my little unpaid dancing monkey. You pay Cyril with armor, job opportunities, and extremely cute girls beside him. It's true. I do put him through hell, but I also give him everything he could ever possibly want. So don't complain, Cyril. Don't complain. Your life is actually pretty good. Though I'm sure he wishes he could have at least kept his eyeball through it all, but No. I take that as payment. He needs to suffer a little bit for the amount of shenanigans he inflicts on other people. I put my OC in hell too. It's the only way. It's the only way. I take that as payment. The eyeball plus interest. He's slowly getting there. He's gonna have a bunch of belts over that midsection as well. And I am debating... I don't think he needs it, but I am debating a sash. This is my... my weakness. Every time I design a character's outfit of any kind. So, let's say... Okay, this is gonna be like the worst character I've ever drawn. This is... Oh gosh, what should we name this character? This is Jimothy. Jimothy Paul Blorbo. Jimothy Paul Blorbo, the first of his line, is a very respectable young man. And let's say he's got kind of some basic clothing, right? So let's say that he's got a pair of boots, some nice old fantasy boots, right? Let's say he's got one of those really fun puffy sleeve fantasy like pirate shirts, because I absolutely love those, right? Just chef kiss, we love the vibes, immaculate. So let's say he's got one of those. Let's say he's got a vest over that. It can be a long vest, can be a short vest, but whatever. He's got a vest. Got a nice pair of trousers. Timothy Paul Blorbo the first, my patron saint of fantastic clothing. I don't know. I can't. The way you claim his eyeball every time he draws Cyril. Yes, exactly. Every single time underneath his eye patch, we have to hide the little smiley face as a little seal of approval to prove that this is a real, genuine Cyril. If you ever find a Cyril and you lift up his eye patch and there's no smiley face underneath it, you have a counterfeit Cyril and you need to return him and get a refund immediately. Patron saint of layers, there we go. Don't test me, I will draw that for real. But alright, okay, so here's my brilliant strategy when we don't talk about how he leans on one side. Maybe he was born that way, okay? So let's say we have Jimothy here, and Jimothy has a nice belt. Maybe he does that little fun thing where they like tuck the extra bit so it hangs down, you know? Cool little fantasy belt, right? We love that. We love that for Jimothy. And this is good, right? It's good. But what I always do whenever I have the option and I have a character that I'm working on designing, my weakness the thing that I always do is when I give them their belt. Again, so let's give them a belt. But I always give a little sash that goes underneath it. So he's got the belt, but he's also got a fabric sash underneath it. And this is my big hack for character design, is I always like giving them some sort of pop of color with a fabric sash underneath. It can have a pattern, it doesn't need to. It can have decoration like tassels, but it doesn't need to. Just any kind of wrap. I love it so much, and I always end up doing it. It's like, what does this character need? A sash. Any hair? Is it going to be bald? Maybe it's the new trend. maybe because he's so warmly wrapped with that sash around his midsection, he needs his bald head to get some airflow. Sash and belt is the unbeatable combination. It's true. It's true. And listen. In the same way that we, as humans, should not have abandoned capes, I'm going to give him a cape because he deserves it. He is the patron saint of layers, after all. So it can cover up his bald head. In the same way that we, as humanity, should not have abandoned capes, we should not have abandoned sashes, because you can put so much stuff in a sash. You can sash all sorts of things in the sash. And it's like a big pocket all the way around your midsection. It's excellent, just like wearing a cape is excellent, because it's a blanket, and it also looks cool. The two things that humanity should not have abandoned are wearing sashes and wearing capes. Gave up his worldly desires for layers and boldness. He is truly the hero that we do not deserve. But anyways, all that to say, I am considering giving Cyril a sash, but I might leave the sash for not his cash. This man is already getting way too many outfits, and he doesn't deserve them. Because, okay, so he's going to have his armor, which is what I'm working on here, which is what he wears when he's working. He'll have casual... He's going to have more outfits than that, too, because he gets one when he goes to the palace. Okay, it's fine. Everything's fine. This man just gets more and more clothes. No matter... I came to this project, like... Oh, it's gonna be a fun, scrappy, not super wealthy Cyril who has, like, access to all of these, these luxury things, like nicely tailored clothing and all these different outfits. He's gonna be, rough and tumble, and he's gonna have, like, his dedicated set of armor that he wears, and, like, maybe, some extra clothes for when he's not working. And now it's like, well, he gets that outfit, and then he gets this other outfit with the suspenders, because I really want to have that one, and then he's going to have this other outfit when he goes to the palace, because you have to dress nice, and this man just keeps getting stuff. Just keeps getting nice stuff. He literally got rid of portable blankets. It's true. It's such a shame. Cyril is a man of means. You really can't escape. I try so hard, and yet I cannot escape for all of my effort. He is the Blorbo, the spoiled child. It makes me think of here. I'll just give him a sticker right on his titty. hate writing with a tablet pen. There we go. He gets a sticker. A favorite child. The way I want to draw because I'm inspired but cannot is diabolical. Forgive me. I know you're all packed up right now. And the iPad. God rest its soul. Favorite child. He is the favorite child of the bunch. He gets spoiled. I love all of my children equally, except Cyril is the favorite. Number one under the sun. People might think he's actually a good man. Well, I'm sure Cyril would be very happy about that. As far as Cyril's concerned, he is a good... Actually, no, that's a lie. Okay. The priest. As far as the priest is concerned, he thinks he is a good man. The others are a little more self-aware. The other incarnations of him are a little more self-aware. Rest in pieces, Herman. He got cracked and it's too pricey to fix. Rest his soul. He's good at being himself. I was also really happy with this face, just gonna say it real quick. I was really happy with this face that I did for him. Cyril's nose is always kind of tricky, because I naturally want to give him a strong nose, but he actually has a little bit of a button nose. It's got like a kind of cute point to it, which sounds weird to call Cyril cute, but a deep forbidden Cyril lore is he's actually really self-conscious about his nose, because he doesn't like how it looks. He doesn't like that it's a little button nose, because his mom would always tease him growing up that he's got this adorable little button nose, and he doesn't like that. He's like, no, I don't like that. I think he's cute though, and I give him a little kiss on the cheek. And also, I am his god, so he has to accept what I say. Alright, let's see. Okay, back to armor. Okay, so I did those pieces. He is going to have multiple belts, because he is going to be a Final Fantasy protagonist. I mean, he's going to... I don't think he's going to get the sash. I think I am going to save the sash for a different... I don't know. He might get a sash. He probably won't. But I won't dismiss it out of hand. But he is going to have at least... So he'll have... Technically, this belt should be worn up here, because that's the smallest part of the armor itself, and you want this to stay flexible. So it's probably going to be worn up here. And that's going to have his sword scabbard for this sword. It's going to go over here, so that's where that sword would hang. And then he'll have, usually I give him at least one extra belt that's a little bit looser. And this belt has tools and stuff on the back of it. So not so much at the front, but in the back it'll have things like keys, pouches that have like medical emergency supplies, etc., you know, that sort of stuff. Essentials. It's basically his pockets when he's wearing armor. And that goes on like the rear of the belt. And then sometimes I give him an extra. I don't think he needs it. On the rear of this belt. So not the loose one, but the tighter one that goes up high at like the natural waist. On the rear of that belt, he's got his dagger, which you would probably be able to see kind of poking out. but he'll have his dagger and it's worn sideways, like the world's worst dagger drawing, but it's worn sideways, tucked in, so that he can grab it with this hand if he needs to. And then a great big sword. many blades on this man. It'd be like that joke that I always love every single time I see it. It's the I can't let you continue when you're armed like this. And it's like, fine. And they take out like 500 different weapons that they have stashed on them. Those are the vibes. They are immaculate. Lady Mara, it's true. I love Mara so very much. Mara has a very naturally strong nose. Like, she has a very kind of straight nose, and it's a very strong, prominent feature. And Cyril thinks that's really pretty, and that's something that people of his ethnicity usually have. So he doesn't like his little button nose, and it doesn't help that his mom keeps teasing him about it. But she thinks it's adorable. But Mara also just really likes to tease her son, and we love that for her. It's true. My word is law. If I decide he's going to suffer, he is going to suffer, and it's what he deserves. Oh no, my phone's about to die. That's not good. Okay, hold on. I'm going to plug my phone in. I wonder if unplugging my headset is going to cause any problems. So if you don't hear me, let me know, because it might be because I unplugged my headset. Hopefully, you can still hear me. If not, I might just need to restart the headset. All good? Excellent. All right. Carry on. I'm not entirely sure. When I drew this, I didn't really think too much about which foot he's got his weight on. Usually I like to exaggerate this a little bit more. And one thing I love about Cyril, aside from his many flaws that I also love. One of the things I like about Cyril is a lot of his strength is situated in his legs because he kicks really hard. If Cyril has the choice between punching or kicking, he's always going to kick. So he's got some absolutely delicious thighs because of that. And I really like exaggerating the proportions to kind of emphasize the way that his body is structured, that he has more of his strength in his legs. And so I like to kind of exaggerate the shape of them, especially when he's doing this. You kind of probably saw me doing this earlier. Especially when he's walking towards the viewer in a kind of shape like this. I would probably bring this foot up a little bit more if I was doing that. If this leg is coming forward, I'd probably lift this foot up a little bit higher. I'm not sure I'll do that. If I was to do that, I would also want to adjust the fabric because it would probably be coming out more this direction. Kind of more like that, rather than this kind of aimless shape that it has right now. I'm not sure if I'll do that because that's a lot of reworking, but to give you an idea of my thought process, I suppose. Thank you so much for stopping by, Devil. I hope you had fun. Have a great day. If you do go see Nosferatu, I hope you enjoy it. Let me take a quick peek at the time as well, because I wasn't planning to stream for super long today. Because I just got back from my aforementioned holiday Christmas fiasco. That was very exhausting, so I am trying to kind of take it easy this weekend, because I have to jump right back into work next week. So I don't have a whole lot of downtime, and I do want to do like some cleaning, etc. So Let's see. Looks like we're at about an hour, so that's not too bad. I'll probably do like at least another half an hour, 30 minutes. Let's see if I can get him completely lined by that time. I don't know if I'll be able to do his face, but I might be able to get his legs done. But also, I really like working on his face. I like his face a lot. So I don't know. We'll see. Oops. I am planning on streaming. I mentioned this earlier, but I'll repeat it just in case any of you didn't hear. I am planning on streaming every other week, so it'll be twice monthly, give or take, just kind of depending on what I can do. It'll probably be on Sundays, probably about the same time. That kind of works easiest for me. But I think it would be nice to stream more often, because I do enjoy it. I used to stream a lot more, and I do miss doing it, so I would like to kind of pick it up again. And then, as I mentioned, I do have some other non-stream videos coming for the YouTube channel, and those will be some lore videos about Immolation and some of the bits and pieces. I have to be careful with those as well, because I don't want to necessarily spoil anything that's in the books, or things that are, you know, going to be covered in Volume 2 or Volume 3. But I also think it'd be fun to share it for people who may not necessarily want to read the books and who still want to know about the lore. And no, because I'm sure, because I've mentioned it now, someone is going to say, hey, what about the lore book? And I'm not making a lore book. Babble. I should actually probably figure out where to put this. A bit of its tunic here. Cool, we're excited. Thank you so much. I hope you enjoy. I really want to not neglect my poor YouTube as much as I have been. It's a lot to manage with trying to actually write the book, well, books, several books, working my day job, trying to keep up on art so I have something to post for social media, which is a never-ending game. But I don't know, I really enjoy it, and I'm very much someone who, which probably to my detriment, I'm very much someone who, if I don't enjoy something, I generally won't do it. Which is not great, and I'm talking about stuff like, you know, like drawing certain things or working on writing, etc. You know, if I don't love a creative project, I typically won't bother doing it. And I've been really enjoying doing some more stuff with YouTube, so I am hoping that that goes well and that people enjoy it, because I would like to do more with it, because I do really enjoy it. I have to figure out which leg is coming forward though, because this one is kind of set up to be this leg coming forward. I think I'll do that. Okay, so this needs to change. I need to change the length. work with. This meat. Oh, my tummy just grumbled. I sure hope you couldn't hear that on the mic. Oh my goodness, my stomach sounds like a dying whale. I haven't had any coffee or breakfast yet, and it's 1 o'clock, coming up on 1 o'clock, so I will need to get some lunch situated after stream. Not entirely sure what I want to do with the knee pads yet. No, I'll leave that blank for now, because I'm not entirely sure what I want to do with it. I think these are the style of boots that I gave him for this. Yeah, they are. You can see how they flare out a little bit, kind of just below the knee. Okay, so I did give him the style of boot. That's good. The good old pirate boot. I don't know if that's really where the look comes from, but it sure is what I think of. What are you going to eat later? That is an excellent question. I haven't thought that far ahead yet. I just got back from being away for a week, so I don't really have any groceries because I didn't want to leave food here for an entire week. Most of it would go bad. So I don't really have any groceries, and I have to kind of decide if I'm going to go grocery shopping today or if I'm going to do grocery shopping tomorrow and just kind of phone it in for today. I don't know. Not entirely sure. If I order in, I have no idea what I would get. What would I get? What am I in the mood for? Usually I'm a soup and salad kind of person. Maybe a sandwich and a salad. But also sushi is really good. I really do like sushi. Cyril will be able to fit 7 swords in his boots. He might be able to get up to 6. He could probably fit. I love sushi. Me too. Sushi is delicious. I don't know if I'm in the mood for sushi today, though. I don't know. I have to think on it. I'm imagining Cyril could fit all sorts of just shenanigans in his boots. He usually has, not necessarily in this story, because he's fulfilling a different role here. But he usually, in his, like, pirate storylines, he wouldn't have a need to do this as a priest. But in, like, his pirate storyline, for example, he keeps this little tin in his boot that's, like, it would kind of look like an alcohol flask, but that's not what he's holding in it. But it has a particular liquid in it, and I researched this in order to figure out if it would work, because this was an actual tactic that criminals would use. Maybe they still do. I don't know. But it's a particular very fast evaporating liquid. I don't remember what it is, but some sort of compound. And if you pour it on something or apply it to something, it goes on clear and it evaporates very quickly. So it dries very quickly, but the film that it leaves behind is still there. And then his dagger, wherever he would be carrying that, when he uses that, that is coated with a different solvent, the blade itself. And if those two, if that film, that fast drying film that he keeps tucked in like one of his boots to apply to stuff, if that film comes in contact with the solvent that's on the blade, it reacts and it turns bright red. And so he can make people think that he's damaging them and that he's pulling blood when he's not. And it makes people panic, and it's very fun. So Cyril keeps all sorts of fun mysteries in his boots. 6 swords would be pushing it, though. You might walk a little funny. Maybe you could divide them up. 4 in one boot, 3 in another. He could get to 7 that way. Am I gonna give his little... I forgot about the chainmail. Am I gonna give him... I don't know. I think I want to sketch in that sword real quick, though. The big one. Because that's supposed to be... I'm gonna have to move some stuff to make this happen. Where should I move him? Our patron saint. He'll go over here for now. My goodness, hello, Vitra, welcome in. How are you today? I'm glad you could make it. I'm doing all right. I'm exhausted from Christmas shenanigans, but glad to be back home after traveling for as long as I was, and glad to be relaxing again. What a magician! Truly, a magician never reveals his secrets, except unfortunately for him, I am the magician, and I reveal his secrets. Cyril's got all sorts of shady things like that he does. I love it. He's so much fun. I have a question. What's your favorite video game? Favorite is BioShock. Let's see. BioShock and Little Nightmares. I've played BioShock. Favorite game? Favorite game. So, it depends on the genre of game, because I love a little bit of everything. Excuse me. I used to stream... Oh my gosh, my voice is giving out. I'm so sorry. I used to stream video games, and I got to play a lot of different games that I probably wouldn't otherwise have tried. And I would say... Depends on the genre. I did pick up Elden Ring. That was my first Souls-like game. And I really enjoyed Elden Ring. It's very difficult. There was a lot... Goodness, I can talk, I promise. There was a big learning curve when it came to Elden Ring, so I definitely had to adjust to that. But I do really enjoy it, but it is a very specific kind of game that I'm not necessarily always in the mood for. I'm trying to think, what's a game that I really like that I can kind of open up and just play whenever. I'm not entirely sure. Because I like a little bit of everything. I've got some very cute kind of idle games. I've got Metroidvanias. I've got obviously some Souls-like games. I've got a little bit of everything, but I will say I think currently one of my favorite games, because I've been replaying it, is... There's technically 2 of them. It's Ori and the Blind Forest. and specifically I have been replaying the second in the series, which is Will of the Wisps, which I enjoy quite a lot. It's a Metroidvania. That's kind of one of those games that I can open up whenever, and I'll pretty much always have a good time. Um, versus something like Elden Ring, where I need to like mentally prepare for the suffering that I will endure. Skyrim is also a favorite. I have to be in the mood for Skyrim, but if you're in the mood for Skyrim, nothing else can satisfy you. It hits different. I love Skyrim so much. I recently fired up my Skyrim for the anniversary that wasn't too long ago. Gameplays are super fun to watch. I really miss streaming games. I have a lot of fun doing that. I'm not particularly good at video games, but I do enjoy them. I used to stream a lot of MMOs as well. I still play MMOs, not as much as I used to. I used to work jobs that weren't quite as emotionally and mentally demanding. I currently work in healthcare and in a quality control capacity and in an area called fraud, waste, and abuse, which is basically like catching people when they do things that are very bad. So it's kind of like my job demands one a lot of attention because it's healthcare, it's people's lives that we're handling here. But also I'm only getting involved when things are starting to go wrong and there's some sort of problem. So my work has become a lot more demanding than it used to be. So I don't really have the time to sink into an MMO because MMOs are very, very demanding in terms of your time. But I do enjoy them. I am a silly little guy, and I enjoy games that have character creators where I can make Cyril. That's like one of my biggest things, especially when it comes to MMOs. I mean, I did the same thing with Elden Ring, especially Elden Ring because I finally was able to use weapons that are accurate to what Cyril uses. So I can finally use a whip, and I can finally have him be like a barehanded, like fisticuffs style fighter. So that all makes me very happy. But in any game that has a creator, I'll always try to make Cyril, just because it's fun. So I've done that with Black Desert, I did that with Final Fantasy XIV, I have done that with Throne and Liberty. All these MMOs that I don't play them like religiously, or I haven't played Final Fantasy in months, possibly 6 months. It might actually even be longer than that. I have not played Final Fantasy in a very long time. But I do enjoy those games. Really need to play Ori one day. Oh, you'd love Ori. It's such a gorgeous game, and the music is excellent. The art direction, just everything about Ori is wonderful. To be fair, I played BioShock 2 for 6 times, and I still love it. Hey, there's some games you just love going back to, and that's a beautiful thing about games. I do like MMOs. I think mostly for the social aspect. It's just kind of fun to dress up a character and kind of wander around and people watch in that sense. Also, I spent a lot of time on Final Fantasy XIV for quite a long time. I still have my little. I've updated it so it's no longer roleplay, but I still have my silly little roleplay card that I made for Cyril. That was a lot of fun. And I slaved and slaved and suffered for hours to get Cyril the Field Commander coat in Final Fantasy XIV. Just for me to not really even play anymore, but it's okay. I earned that coat, fair and square.
Same, I canceled my sub the other week and just decided to let go of my house finally. I play MMOs for the aesthetics now. Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, I really enjoyed Final Fantasy for the years that I played it, but I don't know. Moving on to other games now. I can't really, again, with my current work, I can't really keep up to date with an MMO that has, like a regular cycle of content coming out. And also, as I mentioned earlier, I am someone who, if I don't enjoy something, I won't do it. So if I stop enjoying Final Fantasies, like raids and so on, then I'm not gonna do it. I still enjoy Final Fantasy. I still kind of hop in there very rarely just to kind of wander around the world and take pretty screenshots because I really enjoy doing that. I really miss doing that as well. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not pressed about it. It's essential to make Cyril in every game. It's true. It's true. It is a non-negotiable part of my gaming experience. I must make Cyril. Let's see. Somewhere about there. My enjoyment of a game is directly tied to whether or not I can make Cyril in said game. At least partially. If I can't make Cyril in a game, usually my next try will be trying to make Bronte in said game.
I wasn't a huge fan of the latest expansion, so I'll just go back when I start missing it properly. I wasn't a big fan of the last one either. Yeah, I haven't I haven't even bought the expansion. I at the time that the expansion came out, I was too busy, so I couldn't take on a whole other game at that point. I say other game. I don't think I was playing anything at the time because I was full steam trying to work on Immolation and trying to get it ready to publish. But I just kind of decided, oh, no, I remember. That's what it was. I had to choose between whether or not I was going to get the Elden Ring DLC or I was going to get the Final Fantasy expansion because they were about the same price and they were available at similar times. And I told myself, I'm like, okay, well, I think I'll go ahead and get the Elden Ring DLC because I know I can go through that at my own pace. And I'll see what people think, like what friends think of the Final Fantasy expansion, because at that point I really wasn't playing a whole lot of Final Fantasy anyways. And so I thought, okay, I'll grab Elden Ring. Not that I had time to play it right away, because I definitely didn't. But I thought, okay, I'll grab Elden Ring. And I'll have that to play. And then I'll see what friends think of the expansion. And I'm sure, if I want to go and play Final Fantasy again, I'll have friends that'll be there to run content, so it's no big deal. Because again, I'm not really worried about rating or any of that. Nothing time sensitive when it comes to Final Fantasy 14. Have you made them in Tiny Glade? I don't think I could. I have tried to make Cyril's church in Tiny Glade. That did not work. It's too small. But then again, I can make a sheep with a little bird sitting on set. Well, I can't make it, but it exists. I can have a little sheep with a little bird on their head, and that might as well be Cyril and Bronte, just chilling. I accidentally marooned a sheep recently when I was playing Tiny Glade. I accidentally was just like carving up the land and like putting water in places, etc. And I accidentally marooned a sheep, and he's just living there now. Do you hear about the new Elden Ring spin-off game? I think it looks interesting. I haven't played Elden Ring yet, though. I have heard. Well, I watched the Game Awards, and so I saw the announcement. Um, but yeah, it looks really interesting. I'm not entirely sure what the premise is because I am not much of a boss rusher type player, which probably sounds weird because yes, I did enjoy playing Elden Ring, but I enjoyed Elden Ring because it was this big, beautiful map with this brilliantly designed world and really cool combat that I could wander around in. Not necessarily because I cared or enjoyed any of the boss fights. I'm not much of a boss fight person. They just, I don't know, they don't really interest me. So depending on what that Night Rain, I think is what it's called, depending on what Night Rain is like trying to be, which my understanding is that it's basically just a boss rush game. Depending on what it ends up being, I may or may not swing for it. I mean, I'm still interested in it, also be very curious, but we'll see. There's a whole audience that's kind of like the primary target demographic of gamers that just love boss fights and love boss rushes, and I think that's what Night Rain is more tailored to, versus me, who's a very casual player who just likes to run around on pretty maps. Cyril's definitely a sheep, but a black one. It's true. Night Rain is like a co-op, more action-y type game. It's true. I don't know why they're not allowing you to duo in the game. It's either solo or 3 players, and there's no in between, which seems odd. I don't know why they wouldn't allow 2 players, but meh. I don't know anyone who plays Elden Ring, so I would just be playing it solo anyways. I play most of my games solo. Let's be bigger because it's technically got to have. I'm going to make this. Let's see here. And 3 players is such a random number. It is. It's really odd. I mean, I know plenty of couples who play Elden Ring and want to play co-op in some way, and of course you can technically do that, you know, with normal Elden Ring. But I'm like, are you telling, these people who just want to play like with their significant other that they have to have a random third wheel to join? I don't know. It seems odd. I'm not really sure what the reasoning for that was, but that's what they want to do, I guess. So we'll see. I'll definitely be curious to play it because I mean I really enjoyed Elden Ring. At the same time, as much as I enjoyed Elden Ring, I have not picked up any of the other Souls games just because Elden Ring is more approachable in the way that it is not as linear. So you can just kind of wander around the map and do your own thing, and that's what I really like doing in games. So that's why Elden Ring appealed to me, and why I enjoy it as much as I do. So I don't necessarily think that I'd be someone who enjoys like a more standard Souls game experience. I don't think that's necessarily a good fit for me. Okay, there we go. That looks more like what I wanted. Is it Thymesia or Thymesia? I'm not sure how to pronounce that. And Lies of P. I didn't get to play Lies of P. I played the demo and I enjoyed it, but I didn't have time to actually go through and play it. But I have heard good things about Lies of P. I don't know how to pronounce it actually. Okay, so it's not just me. That makes me feel better at least. So now, I can take his sword and put it. Comes back. Woo. See, if Cyril was actually like a really cool guy, his sword would have a name. Well, both of his swords. Many of his swords. All 7 of his swords that he keeps in his boots would have names. So far, there's only one named sword that I have, and you haven't met that sword yet because it's going to be possibly in Book 3 of Immolation, possibly Book 2, not entirely sure. But there's only one named sword so far. Though I guess we could always name this great sword that Cyril's going to be carrying in the secret project story. Babble, how dare you say such things in my chat? The big sword will be named Jimothy in honor of our patron saint of layers. Though anyone who knows Cyril knows that he isn't that big of a sword fighter. It's not his first choice, but for story reasons, in this little secret project, he is going to be using swords instead of his weapon of choice, which is a whip in some capacity. Archbishop Cyril gets to have a chain whip instead of like a normal whip, like a leather one. You had to do it at least once, but did you? But did you really? Does he sleep with his trinkets, all 7, 8, 9, etc. of his swords? Listen, if he sleeps with his eye patch on, then he sleeps with all 7 of his swords. Let's see. Oh, can I? I don't know if I can do that. Well, I could do that. Let me see. I once again have not named my layers. Everybody point at Babel and shame her for being horny in my chat. Unacceptable. No, Vitra, I said shame her. I'm debating being bad. I'm gonna be bad. I'm gonna regret it if I'm bad, because it's gonna make it difficult. Bad. I'm gonna do it. It's already almost 1:30, so I'll probably start wrapping it up, and I'm just gonna do it. I'm just gonna do it. I'm just gonna do it. It's what I did with this one. You can probably tell. Let's pick a random color here. Let's pick right from his titty. There we go. We're gonna ignore that he has a smiley face in his armpit because I didn't draw the chainmail yet. We'll get to that. Titty color, good choice. It's true. Oh, you're going to be able to see the fact that I didn't actually erase this, I just colored it. Because there's probably going to be holes in it. No, well, maybe not. No, I guess I colored in that whole thing. Good job, me. I guess I'll find out. Aha. Actually, I guess I don't. No, it's fine. I'll do it. I know I am technically skipping steps by doing this, but I sometimes do this a lot because I like skipping to the fun part, because the fun part is rendering. I hate lining. Even if it's just sketches, I hate it. It's very time consuming for me. One of these days I'll be clever, and what I used to do when I was streaming art a lot more, and I'll probably start doing this again, is I would prep a piece by having it fully lined already. So all I had to do while I was streaming was just doing the rendering. And the rendering is a lot more fun. I enjoy that a lot more. So I'll probably start doing that as I start streaming more on this YouTube channel. Alright, Vitra, thank you so much for stopping by. I appreciate it. Have a good rest of your day and have a wonderful New Year's Eve. He looks so much cleaner now. I'm loving it more now. Thank you so much. Yeah, I like cleaning up my sketches. It's really nice to kind of see him come out of that mess that I made into something it's easier to see. I'm sure he'll get cleaned up more. I plan to do this drawing of him, and I also need to do Angelique, who is the other main character in this. Oops. I'm not sure. Project? Why aren't you letting me select a color? Come on. I don't know why it does this either. There we go. Now it's letting me. Alright. Okay. Let's just my opacity was too. Okay, fine. Not sure what I'm gonna do this. Okay, see, I probably won't do anything with that. Anyways, so I'm going to draw Angelique, who's the female lead, and then obviously I'll work on finishing up this one with Cyril, who is not necessarily going to be called Cyril in the story, because he may or may not be taking someone else's identity in this story. But more on that later. This is just a little side project to kind of scratch the creative itch in the interim. I am not sure what it's going to be yet in terms of length of the story. I'm not sure if it's going to be a short story, if it's going to be a novella. Not entirely sure yet. We'll kind of see what comes of it. It is going to be something that people who are kind of longtime followers of Cyril, if any of you here are going to appreciate, because it's more of his. It's not the pirate storyline, but it is more adjacent to that in terms of how Cyril acts, in terms of being a big old meanie. But more info on it later. It's definitely going to be kind of going up on Patreon kind of for New Year's. I plan to do some overhauls to the Patreon this year anyways, because I'm going to be doing some videos on YouTube, so patrons will have their names in the credits for those videos, etc. But we'll see how that goes. Lots of updates for Patreon and all sorts of shenanigans. Magica would approve of Cyril's endeavors. Excellent. He at least has one, an alibi going for him. Okay, hold on. Let me check and see what time it is, because my tummy is grumbling. It's about 1:40. Okay, I'll probably give it 5 more minutes, 5-10 more minutes. And then it's going to be time for me to bow out and get some delicious, delicious lunch. I'm still not sure what I'm gonna get. I'm not really in the mood for sushi. Not really feeling that. I think I do have a little bit of a sandwich that I could munch on. I got a sandwich from the deli the other day. I said the other day, yesterday. But I did have it yesterday, so I don't know if I want it again today. I don't know. We'll see. Something delicious. And I'll go grocery shopping tomorrow, now that I'm home. Ooh, shiny. It is shiny indeed. I love doing rendering on shiny stuff. I'm not particularly good at it. I think I do need more practice, but I still really enjoy it. I do want more practice drawing armor in general, which is part of why I was doing this project. Because obviously, Priest Cyril, the Archbishop, doesn't really wear armor because his cassock is his armor. Wears a little bit in his like original sketch that I did of him. He's got a little bit of armor on, but I don't know, something about like full suits of armor, just chef kiss. I love the vibes. So fun to do a little bit more of it. Favorite part, shiny. It is the best part. Normally I would have a more detailed sketch to be working over. Like, I don't know, I've been fiddling with my art style a little bit lately as well, because I haven't been feeling super satisfied with it, so I want to experiment a little bit more. And I was looking at some older art of mine that I really liked. I was trying to study it and look at it and figure out what about my older art that I liked. And some of it was just the fact that I had a lot more detail in my sketches. I didn't do a ton on this particular sketch page for obvious reasons, but like a little bit of it is some of the sketching lines that I did on his face here, and I'm really happy with how his face came out here, which is part of it. I'm really quite pleased with his face, and with Jimothy. But I'm quite pleased with his face here, and I think it's because I let myself have a little bit more detail in the actual sketch. So, I don't know, I'm kind of leaning in that direction for art going forward. We'll see kind of what that means, but it's kind of nice to have at least a plan to move forward with in terms of what I want to do with art.
Just remembered, what are the documentaries you like, if you don't mind me asking?
So recently I watched there's a couple of these, but I believe it was Victorian Farm and Edwardian Farm with Ruth Goodman, who is a historian. And those are both wonderful documentaries. I think I watched the Victorian one recently, because I think I watched it during Christmas. It's either the Victorian Farm or a Victorian Christmas. I believe both of those were kind of the same. They were filmed at the same time, and they are the same setting and same historian, but I really enjoy Ruth Goodman's work. I have a couple of her books as well. Beyond that, I also recently watched Defunctland, which is a channel here on YouTube, which if you have not watched Defunctland, it's excellent. I just watched the animatronics documentary, and before that I had watched the Disney Channel documentary, which if you're like me and you grew up watching Disney Channel, that was just such a nostalgia trip to go through and watch. It was excellent. But most of my documentaries are history, so things like the Victorian Farm with Ruth Goodman. I did another one, I don't remember who the presenter was, but and a lot of these are as you might surmise, a lot of these are research for writing. And there's two that I watched recently. One was about automata, which tied into the animatronics documentary, so that was a fun little tie-in, and I wasn't really expecting. Looking back on it, it should have been obvious, but I didn't expect it at the time. But I watched one about like automata from history, and then I don't remember the presenter for that, but I think it was a BBC. And then another one about, it's a series of going to different cathedrals and talking about the different histories for each of the different cathedrals in England. Which, as you can imagine, that's done that's primarily for research for Immolation, because I love, first of all, I love history in general, but I also just love researching for writing. So it was part of that as well. But that's a whole series. I don't think it's an individual video. It is BBC. I know that the cathedral one is, but I think it's a whole series. It's not like a simple single documentary. To answer your question, it's just some of the things I was watching recently. Disney fan here. Yeah, me too. I grew up. Have any of you been to Disneyland and or Disney World? Because I'm not a Disney, like a big Disney nerd now. Like my sister is very much a Disney nerd. Like she really loves to kind of regularly go to Disneyland. She has lots of Disney, character merchandise and all that sort of stuff. And I'm not a huge fan of it in that sense, but I'm very nostalgic for and very connected to a lot of the original animated movies. Like again, Hunchback of Notre Dame is one of my absolute favorite films. And I have been to Disneyland, I believe, 4 times, I think. Maybe. Something of that nature. Thank you. Yeah, of course. I wish I had nice, easy links to give to all of those. I don't have really a nice, easy place to put that sort of stuff. I have considered a Discord, like for the YouTube channel, where people can kind of come in and talk about like what they're watching and talk about art and all that fun stuff, but I haven't really had the time to dedicate towards making a Discord and making sure I have moderators and all that sort of stuff. But we'll see. I might think about it because I think it'd be fun, especially if other folks want to like watch documentaries or any of that sort of fun stuff. I would enjoy that. Just another task, another thing for me to do, but that's okay. I enjoy doing it. Let me find his scarf because I do want to try and render his scarf before I end the stream. But I did not label my layers because of course I didn't. Oh, there it is. I live nowhere near Disneyland, but I'd like to go there one day. Nice. Do you have like another Disneyland, or are you like closer to Disney World? Because I'm in California, so it's pretty easy for me to go to Disneyland. It's about a 6 hour, 8 hours with traffic if it's LA traffic, but about like a 6.5 hour drive, maybe, from where I am to Southern California to get to Disneyland. So it's not like you're not paying. I mean, you could pay for a flight, but it's like a 45-minute flight, so there's really no point. But it's pretty easy for me, rather say than like trying to go all the way to Disney World, which is in Florida, which is at the opposite end of the country. But I know there's Disneyland in other places, like if you're in Europe, there's Disneyland Paris, I believe. I don't know how good it is. I've never been there. I believe there's a Disneyland in Tokyo. I'm not sure where other. I think there's a Disneyland. It might be. I think it's Disneyland Shanghai in China as well. I have no idea where you people live, so I might be suggesting things that are also super far away. My favorite part is shiny. It's more difficult for me. I always worry about my rendering. I'm always slightly never satisfied with it, but also pretty happy of the... What's the word? I'm pretty happy with the progress that I'm making. Like, I can see that my rendering is improving over time as I keep drawing. I'm still not necessarily happy with it, but I do like to see the improvement, and I do think it still makes a big difference in the sketches that I do. But that's just the universal experience of being an artist, is you always see how you can improve. Same with writing. No, I would have to apply for a visa and pray that I get it. We're all peasants in this economy. Oh no. Oh man. Well, I do hope that you can get to Disneyland one day. I do hope. I've been, like I said, I think 4 times, give or take. And like for example, Pirates of the Caribbean is a ride that everybody should get to go on. Everybody deserves to go on Pirates of the Caribbean. It's just a fun ride. crumbled again. Okay, it's definitely getting close to quitting time, so I can get some food. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, I wish I could offer more than well wishes, but I am truly a peasant, as are we all. So they are the highest currency that I can offer. Let's see. I'm going to. Well, it's not as done as I would have hoped, but I still had fun, and I'm glad I got to do some of the rendering on the armor, because that was pretty much my favorite spot that I was looking forward to doing, because I'm just excited to be drawing armor. It's a little bit out of the ordinary for me. Armor is so well polished. He takes good care of it, because I told him to. But thank you guys so much for coming and hanging out. I hope you had fun. I am going to go get something to eat because I am very, very hungry. Thank you so much for coming. Again, I really hope you had a good time. I am hoping to stream once every other week, so approximately twice a month, just kind of depending on how it shakes out. So every other Sunday back here, probably close to the same time. I'm aiming for kind of about 10:30, 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time as kind of my starting time. Keep an eye out for some upcoming videos about lore, some funky little speed paints, and I'll be talking more about this project with Cyril as a quote-unquote as a knight. He's just a coin guard. He's just a mercenary, not a real knight. But, you know, he gets to wear armor, so he's kind of a knight. But keep an eye out for more updates on that, and thank you so much for all of your support this year. Thank you so much for supporting Immolation, especially if you took the time to purchase, to read, and especially to leave a review. I really, really do appreciate it. It means so much to me. So thank you so much for all the support, and thank you so much for being here, and I will see you around on the internet. Have a great rest of your weekend, everybody.